Individuals are revisiting Ricky Gervais' Golden Globes instance like it wasn't humor, like it was a cautionary message, because presently, Epstein-oriented records and confidential materials are gaining attention once more, and the online world is executing what it consistently does, monitoring who's transferring, who's liquidating estates, and who's abruptly becoming silent. And the schedule is what has everyone concerned. Here's what we're examining today rapidly. Ellen supposedly dedicating prolonged periods in the UK while headlines circulate. Richard Gere executing a significant estate transaction that individuals online are labeling alarm schedule. Eva Longoria discreetly transforming her foundation. Rosie O'Donnell appearing lasting regarding residing internationally. And even speculation surrounding Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes investigating outside LA. One crucial observation before we proceed any further. I'm not asserting anyone is culpable of anything. We're distinguishing what can be confirmed from what is speculation, and we're analyzing why the online world is analyzing these actions the manner it is. That's the matter. All right, let's proceed. Brief reminder on why Ricky is even segment of the style.
Are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. No one cares about movies anymore. No one goes to the cinema. No one really watches network TV. Everyone's watching Netflix. This show should just be me coming out going, well done Netflix, you win, everything, good night. But no, we got to drag it out for 3 hours. You could binge watch the entire first season of Afterlife instead of watching this show. That's a show about a man who wants to kill himself because his wife dies of cancer, and it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God.
When he presented the Golden Globes, he didn't execute courteous Hollywood humor. He executed the type of critique that causes dominant individuals to react while appearing authentically uneasy.
The internet is connecting dots, fairly or unfairly. And here's the wild part. The public mood shifts first. Then every celebrity move starts getting treated like a clue. People see a relocation, a home sale, a sudden silence, and they don't read it as normal life change. They read it as preparation. Is that a fair conclusion? Not necessarily. But it explains why this trend keeps exploding.
Lively and Jeffrey Epstein connection is wild, you guys. This letter has all these people listed. Let me just tell you, I looked each and every single one of them up, and there is scandal and shade in relation to each one. Buckle up, I'm gonna go
easy because it strikes too near to what nobody previously expressed openly. And when Epstein's identity surfaced in that space, it didn't appear arbitrary. It appeared like a you all comprehend what this represents instance. The online world is linking elements reasonably or unreasonably. And here's the remarkable segment. The audience atmosphere transforms initially. Then every celebrity action begins getting interpreted like evidence. Individuals observe a transfer, a residence liquidation, an abrupt quietness, and they don't interpret it as standard existence transformation. They interpret it as arrangement. Is that a reasonable determination? Not essentially. But it clarifies why this pattern persists in intensifying. Individuals accept identities are approaching, schedule becomes the complete narrative. So currently, we execute this the intelligent approach, identity by identity, what's being asserted, what's genuinely confirmable, and what's still merely online interpretation. Let's begin with the largest headline identity being pulled into this dialogue, Ellen DeGeneres, the primary figure. Let's begin with the identity that persists in getting incorporated into this pattern the most. There are extensive accounts that Ellen DeGeneres has been dedicating prolonged periods in the UK. And before anyone distorts this, transferring is not an offense. Individuals relocate for 100 standard explanations. But here's why her identity persists in getting referenced regardless. Schedule plus headlines establishes a perfect environment for conjecture. Certain coverage and digital commentary have indicated legal documentation difficulties affiliated with a vehicle collision-oriented litigation. Essentially, assertions that delivering documents can become more challenging when somebody isn't in the nation or isn't readily accessible through standard methods. That alone doesn't confirm anything suspicious. It could be organizational, it could be administrative, it could be completely ordinary, but the online world receives delivery complications and instantly elevates it to she's evading. And then they accumulate that presumption on top of everything else popular presently, and abruptly they're interpreting speculation like it's validation. So let's maintain this transparent. Confirmable segment is that there's been audience discussion regarding her being internationally, and that there may be judicial or organizational complications connected to documentation. The unconfirmed segment is the reasoning individuals attributed to it. And then there's the footage culture dimension. Individuals persist in resurfacing previous on-camera instances in conversation discussion that they assert suggest she was conscious of certain late-evening celebrity networks and gatherings. The online world appreciates to execute this, obtain unclear mention, footage it, replay it, and convert it into an admission. Is it evidence of misconduct? Negative. Is it sufficient to maintain her identity in the responses when the subject intensifies? Absolutely. So the explanation Ellen is the primary figure here isn't validated proof connecting her to anything prohibited. It's that she's prominent, she's divisive, and individuals online are prepared to analyze every action as calculated, and that's the trend you'll observe repeatedly. Transferring becomes fleeing, seclusion becomes concealing, schedule becomes culpability, even when there's no evidence. Richard Gere, The Surprising Departure.
Survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know. In the year 2000, I was taken to Jeffrey Epstein's island while on a photo shoot on a nearby island. Who I saw and what I experienced there was a glimpse into a very dark and disturbing world. For years after, I tried to avoid Jeffrey. Epstein's reach went to the very top of fashion, arts, and entertainment. This did not just happen to underage girls in Florida. In New York City, hundreds of young, ambitious women were abused by.
Following up is Richard Gere, and this one astonished numerous individuals because he's been a Hollywood establishment for many years. Accounts have circulated that he liquidated a significant estate in Connecticut, the type of location individuals characterize as a complete compound, not merely a residence. Currently, the online world storyline states he liquidated at a deficit and that it appears like alarm schedule. But here's what we can responsibly express. Property valuation is challenging, marketplaces transform, purchasers negotiate, taxation, upkeep, schedule, and confidential household choices can all contribute a function. A liquidation value by itself doesn't automatically signify urgency. That stated, the explanation it's being presented as questionable is the precise identical schedule impact. When individuals are previously anticipating additional Epstein-oriented material to become accessible, they begin interpreting standard financial choices like encrypted communications. His audience-directed clarification, following what's been stated in accounts and commentary, focuses surrounding household priorities and dedicating additional periods internationally. That's not unusual, that's not prohibited, it's not even rare. But if you're previously persuaded something substantial is approaching, you observe a liquidation headline and your consciousness proceeds, he possesses knowledge. Once more, the confirmed element is the real estate transaction and the comprehensive lifestyle transformation. The uncertain element is the reasoning individuals attributed to it. We lack evidence of the reasoning. We witness the online world converting a personal choice into a dramatic tale. Eva Longoria, The Discreet Departure. Currently, let's discuss Eva Longoria. She's been transparent in discussions about dedicating considerable periods away from the U.S., dividing her existence across various nations, and being particular regarding where she nurtures her household. That's a standard dialogue for somebody with resources, alternatives, and a wish for seclusion. However, here's what causes it to match the trend individuals are fixated on: property transactions. There have been assertions that she lowered the listing value on a significant estate, and digital platforms instantly interpreted that into she requires to liquidate immediately. Yet value decreases occur for numerous explanations: schedule, purchaser interest, approach, marketplace adjustment, or merely desiring to conclude a transition without extending it for extended periods. So what's the controversy here? The controversy is the distinction between discrete and rapid. When a prominent individual doesn't issue a major statement, but their holdings and way of lifing begin transforming, it establishes a void, and the online world occupies that void with the bleakest hypothesis accessible. Certain individuals present it like she's transferring funds and departing before something emerges. Is there proof of that reasoning? Not in what we're examining here. What's driving it is the identical thing driving everything else: schedule plus elevated mistrust. So Eva enters the discrete departure classification, not due to validated misconduct, but because her actions are understated enough that individuals can impose whatever narrative they desire onto them. Rosie O'Donnell, the banishment storyline. Rosie O'Donnell is following, and the terminology surrounding her relocation is exceptionally theatrical online. Individuals persist in labeling it banishment because she has openly discussed residing in Ireland and firmly suggested she doesn't intend to come back in the manner she previously did. Currently, selecting to reside internationally can concern tranquility, seclusion, psychological wellness, household, or merely desiring an alternative way of lifing. None of that requires a conspiracy clarification, but here's why the online world is behaving suspiciously. Regardless, Rosie has existed in the business eternally. She's affiliated. She's been surrounding prominent figures for many years. And when somebody like that departs and appears definitive about it, the digital consciousness instantly inquires, what does she understand? That inquiry is not evidence. It's simply how individuals reason when they're previously emotionally influenced by a larger narrative. So rather than depicting it like she's frightened, we maintain it truthful. Her relocation contributes to the impression of a wider pattern: prominent individuals selecting separation from the Hollywood apparatus, precisely at the instance this subject is intensifying once more. And when the audience is previously anticipating disclosures, they interpret separation as a protective action. Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes, the intelligent ones speculation. Currently, we've obtained Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes, and to be transparent, this segment is substantially speculation-driven. The discussion online is that they've examined estates in London or contemplated dedicating additional periods there to nurture their children distant from the pressure of Los Angeles and the perpetual attention. Unlike the alternative illustrations, this isn't being propelled by a singular transaction headline that everyone can reference. It's more of that business whisper vitality, the type of narrative that circulates because it appears credible. And that's precisely why it's significant. It demonstrates how the trend gains momentum. Once the online world accepts individuals are departing, even standard household selections and discrete lifestyle inclinations get incorporated into the identical storyline. So, are Ryan and Eva fleeing? We lack evidence of that. What we possess is a digital atmosphere where every famous partnership with children becomes a subject for interpretation. Their safeguarding their household transforms into their evading. And currently that you comprehend how this functions, how one headline becomes a sequence response, the following dimension individuals dispute about isn't even who relocated, it's how affiliated these networks are. They're currently in the preparation phases, but the circumstance that they're even investigating indicates something. Not as evidence, but as an indication of where the climate is presently. Because let's be genuine, when the audience dialogue transitions into records, identities, and who possessed knowledge, Hollywood doesn't appear secure for anyone standing. Even individuals who possess nothing to engage with anything begin considering why remain in the impact area when you can exist more peacefully elsewhere. And that's the matter. The atmosphere transforms initially, the relocations arrive secondly, the online world links it all thirdly, the profound affiliations. Currently, we require to discuss how extensive these affiliations seem to extend, not because every affiliation equals misconduct, but because the appearances alone can terminate professions. It's not merely about celebrities departing, it's about how limited the realm is at that tier, how frequently the identical networks intersect, and how rapidly "I was in the space" converts into "I must be involved in it," even when that conclusion isn't reasonable. So let's discuss the network impact. Throughout the years, you'll observe viral discussions asserting that various prominent individuals early in their professions concluded at high society gatherings where multiple controversial individuals were similarly present. Sometimes the online world depicts it like an attendance roster. Sometimes it's one photograph, one speculation, one account that gets recycled until it appears like validated history. And I'm going to express this transparently. Existing in the identical space is not the identical as being engaged in someone else's offenses. It's not evidence. It's not a judgment. It's not even a reasonable charge on its own. But it does demonstrate you how these networks function. One gathering, one fundraiser, one business gathering, and abruptly you're associated in the audience imagination to numerous individuals you didn't even communicate with. And when a controversy resurfaces, the online world doesn't inquire, did they execute anything? The online world inquires, were they adjacent? That's why this generates alarm, not consistently because individuals are culpable, but because standing is delicate and nearness becomes a tool. Currently, let's discuss what individuals persist in raising following movement, entry, and the identities that emerge in enduring audience discussions surrounding Epstein. Because, whether you appreciate it or not, there are identities that have been repeatedly referenced in journalism, documentaries, official documents, and digital discussions for years. And every occasion the subject increases again, those identities reappear like predictable patterns. So, here's how we manage this. We're not stating this individual executed X. We're stating this individual has been openly linked in one manner or another through recorded movement, gatherings, or disclosed contact. And that link is why the online world pulls them back into the dialogue. Stephen Hawking is frequently referenced in these discussions because individuals assert he traveled in association with a science-oriented gathering. And that illustration is significant because it confirms a fundamental concept of attendance alone is not a controversy. Circumstances are significant. Woody Allen has similarly been referenced in association with Epstein in various audience discussions, including assertions that they were observed around the identical areas. Is being observed an offense? Negative. But once the audience possesses a critical perspective, every element gets analyzed through it. Les Wexner is another identity that surfaces regularly because of enduring audience journalism and disputes surrounding Epstein's connection to prosperity, authority, and entry. And you'll observe viral publications accumulating extra theatrical assertions on top. Statistics, situations, assured this absolutely occurred terminology. Certain of those assertions get repeated so frequently they begin appearing like realities. But here's the actuality. Unless you possess a confirmed document for each particular assertion, you maintain it as documented, claimed, or speculated. Because the online world doesn't require assistance circulating speculation. It requires somebody to distinguish what's substantial from what's fabricated. Naomi Campbell is another identity that gets incorporated into these dialogues because of disclosed social connections to individuals in Epstein's wider network. And you'll observe individuals online express things like, she absolutely possessed knowledge, or she absolutely witnessed. That's a charge, not proof. So we don't execute absolutely. We execute, this is why the audience persists in raising it up, and this is why it becomes a PR difficulty when the subject resurfaces. Chris Tucker is frequently referenced because of a recognized journey individuals discuss, sometimes presented as charitable-oriented, sometimes presented as, why would you be present again? The presence of a journey or flight doesn't automatically validate prohibited conduct, but when the subject is popular, the audience begins utilizing was on the aircraft like it's a judgment. Kevin Spacey obtains referenced in comparable movement-oriented dialogues, and because he previously possesses his own audience, dispute any link becomes fuel on the flames. In an atmosphere like this, individuals don't evaluate subtlety, they accumulate suspicion. So here's why all of this is significant. And this is the segment individuals don't desire to acknowledge. These aren't consistently evidence narratives. Many of them are impression narratives. When multiple famous individuals are documented to be liquidating residences, dedicating additional periods internationally, withdrawing from audience existence, or constraining their network, and the online world accepts additional Epstein-oriented material could become accessible, you are witnessing a collision between schedule and suspicion. Are all these relocations coordinated? We do not possess evidence of that. Are all these relocations affiliated to one singular occurrence or one singular disclosure schedule? We do not possess evidence of that either. But do trends become persuasive when you're previously prepared to accept a crisis is approaching? Affirmative. That's how the online world functions. individuals observe headlines like liquidating estates, relocating internationally, becoming secluded, restricting audience presentations, discreetly transforming their existence distant from the attention, and they don't interpret it as standard existence transformation. They interpret it as arrangement. They interpret it as safeguarding. They interpret it as depart before it becomes unpleasant. And whether that analysis is reasonable or not, it clarifies why this subject persists in detonating online, because once the viewer's accepts identities are approaching, every celebrity relocation becomes evidence. So there you possess it. Years previously, Ricky Gervais positioned on that platform and expressed humor about Hollywood contradiction, like he didn't concern who despised him for it. He expressed humor about the matters individuals murmur. He expressed humor about the obvious issues nobody desires to recognize. And currently, with Epstein-oriented discussion intensifying again, individuals are witnessing celebrities relocate, liquidate, become silent, and constrain their existences. And the online world is interpreting it like a collective departure approach. Ellen internationally, Richard Gere executing significant estate relocations, Eva Longoria transforming her existence distantly, Rosie appearing lasting about residing internationally, Ryan and Eva speculated to investigate an alternative foundation. Is that evidence of anything prohibited? Negative. Is it sufficient to establish the most captivating type of narrative online? The type where everyone considers they're resolving a puzzle in immediate time? Absolutely. I desire to receive from you. Share your perspectives in the responses. Which celebrity relocation astonished you the most? And which segment of this narrative do you consider is being amplified the most intensely online? If you desire me to persist in monitoring this as it progresses, press subscribe and activate alerts so you don't overlook the following update. This narrative isn't disappearing, it's only becoming more intense. Observe you in the following one.